Money Vikings, thank you very much for joining today. I have a really powerful message for you today if you are interested in building wealth and being successful at building wealth and investing. And that is about the things that we should avoid doing if we want to build wealth. So a lot of times we are our own worst enemies. And please check out truewealth.moneyvikings.com and check our psychology section where we try to capture the best in financial psychology. If you're watching some of the shows on Netflix, for example, Remit, I think is his name, the personal finance guru, a lot of what I'm getting out of that show is that he is delving into people's psychology of money and their biases when it comes to managing their money. We all grow up with certain things that we're told or taught, and maybe it's subliminal or maybe it's implied. Or maybe it's through our early experiences, but it basically captures the relationship that we have personally with money. And unfortunately, it can be a lot like our relationship with food and other things, where we are our own worst enemy. We are, for some reason, creatures that will work against our own best interests when it comes to our investing and our finances. And there's just a lot of myopic thinking. And there's a lot of things that we're taught early on, many of us in our culture, money being the root of all evil, kind of a misunderstood concept that, money is a very neutral thing. Money is basically intention and energy, and it's also a store of value, and it's a kind of debt. So it's not necessarily evil or good. It can be used for different things. But anyway, the point of this vlog here is to talk about 5 things that I've found can really help us in terms of avoiding in order to build wealth. So here we have our consumer here going crazy with the shopping, and we have no idea through this illusion of wealth whether or not this person can afford it. So that's the first thing, is avoiding excessive spending. One of the key factors in accumulating wealth is to avoid unnecessary and impulsive spending. So, I'm a big fan of a basic budget. You have to really have some sort of basic budget. And we really need to look squarely in the eye at our debt and look at ourselves in the mirror. And that's one of these things in some of these shows that I'm seeing where people are, they don't even want to open their bills. And that is such a scary, disturbing place to be, because it just hurts them and their family more and more as the years go on. It's much better to open up that stuff, get a piece of paper out, write down what is owed, write down what assets and savings a person has, write down what income they have coming in, and develop a plan, put a plan in action. More than developing a plan, put a plan in action to start beating that down and destroying it. So that's the first one. Financial habits. Now, I'm a big fan of automating things as much as we can. We have got to take the human out of some of these decisions, because, again, we tend to be our own worst enemy, and we're very present moment focused, and we do a lot of self-sabotage and a lot of rationalizing things in our minds. Oh, it's only this, or it's only that. One thing that I find about developing automated, good, hygienic financial habits that are automated is that you can actually not worry so much about the little stuff. A lot of the big, financial gurus will say, don't go to Starbucks. And I get it. There's excessive spending on Starbucks or whatever. But if you have the automation in terms of the investing done right, if you have a very balanced budget that makes sense given your normal income, like can you afford the monthly expenses and have a little cushion in there? Do you have an emergency reserve set up? If you have all those things sort of set up and you got the big things right, and we've talked about that in past videos, check out some of our others. If you get the big things right, then you really aren't worrying about, am I ordering the appetizer? Do I want to get a drink tonight when I go out, with my friends? Again, that stuff as well has to be well managed. But again, it has to do with this whole concept of financial habits. The famous saying is, first we make our habits, and then our habits make us. So it's just nothing is more true because the little things that we're doing every day become the long-term arc of where we're going in terms of our health, investing, wealth, relationships, etc. Avoid excessive risk taking. We're coming out of an era, especially with this meme stock era that was happening a couple years ago during the pandemic, where there was a lot of appetite for risk taking. It's probably because all the money that was sloshing around. But this is just another aspect of managing finances that we need to keep an eye on. So, it's one thing, and we've dabbled in it with, 5% or a little money here and there just to kind of explore and have some fun. But if someone is going nuts on the cryptocurrencies and the meme stocks and even the individual stock picking, they're in a very high risk category. That can fall apart very quickly. What we talk a lot about at truewealth.moneyvikings.com is our all-weather or our ride the bike portfolio, where it's a very balanced approach, okay? And you're thinking about your personal risk tolerance, what helps you sleep at night, what kind of loss can you imagine, a 50% haircut or a 50% loss on an investment account in a matter of a few days. And if that makes your stomach feel really, really bad, then it means that you're more on the side of a lower risk investor. Now, if you kind of go with that and you're like, yeah, I can take it, no big deal. If I see that 100,000 go down to 50,000, I know that it's going to swing back, or you believe that, or whatever it might be. Okay, maybe you're more of a risk taker, but you got to know yourself with all this stuff. So again, in my view, avoid the excessive risk taking, and that's why we check out our all-weather portfolio here. Over the long run, you want to try to build multiple income streams. So, whether that's a dividend portfolio supplemented with a 401k, supplemented with some real estate investment trusts, supplemented with a side gig, supplemented with Social Security in the long run, supplemented with a pension. Maybe you pick up a small business here or there. Maybe you have a side hobby that makes some income as well. If you're, refurbishing and reselling cars, or you're selling collectibles, or you're running a blog or a podcast or whatever. The idea is to create multiple sources of income. And again, that just creates a lot of good resiliency. So person that has to rely on just one thing, man, that can get rough over time. Avoid ignoring education and self-improvement. This is the final one. So a little bit of a plug, please subscribe and like to our YouTube channel, because we're all about education and self-improvement. That's the whole goal of this channel and of our blog, is to capture the best ideas when it comes to building wealth and health. And of course, we also like to have some fun with the collectibles and the comics and the games and relationships and all that kind of stuff. So, if you don't come to us, that's fine. Don't ignore your education and your self-improvement, because the more we can learn about the investing world, the more we can manage risk, understand how the world really works, look at things with a clear, eyes wide open point of view. And I think that we'll be stronger in the long run. So I hope those things help. Check out our book as well, Conquer Financial Freedom. You can pick it up here at Amazon. And we have a free preview as well if you go to truewealth.moneyvikings.com. And with that, thanks a lot for watching. Please like and subscribe, and we'll see you on the next one. Y'all take care. Thanks.